Hey there, coaches. I'm Rich Prado, owner of Play In School and host of Travel Ball Talk, where I talk to travel ball coaches from the best organizations about the current and future state of travel baseball. Today's episode takes us to Charlotte, North Carolina, where we talk to Jeff Schaefer, founder of the Carolina Baseball Center. As you'll soon find out, CBC barely scratches the surface in describing everything baseball related that Jeff is into. This conversation gets into one of the major topics on everybody's mind: money and expenses in baseball. Instead of just acknowledging the problem or complaining about it, Jeff is doing something about it. I hope you enjoy this episode of Travel Ball Talk. All right, welcome back to another episode of Travel Ball Talk. On the line today, dialed in from the Charlotte, North Carolina area, is my good friend Jeff Schaefer. I was just kidding around with Schaefer. I've got next to his name on my notes here. He looks like a doctor, a lawyer, accountant. He's got so many darn initials next to his name, and we're probably going to talk about a lot of this. But we're talking about CBC, BIC, NTIS, YDA, CF, and the new one I just added was SBR. We'll talk about all that stuff, but first I want to say welcome to Travel Ball Talk. Jeff, how you doing, man?
Rich, appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
So you've been doing your own podcast for a long time. Let's start at the very end. That's SBR, the Schaefer Baseball Report. I've tuned into a handful of these, and I think the best way, if somebody hasn't listened to it yet, these episodes of Schaefer Baseball Report are basically 2 or 3 baseball dudes talking trash on a recorded line. Is that pretty accurate?
Yeah, I think there's validity. I mean, it is trash. I mean, I'm adamant about pointing out the flaws in what's in our space, and it usually takes many different directions. It's a lot of fun. It's wide open. It's uncensored, and it's passionate.
Yeah,
what
fun.
We speak isn't just absolutely having fun. And look, I deserve to be called out on certain things. I expect to be called out on certain things. That's the beauty of this game. If you sit in a war room in pro ball, everybody's called out. If you sit in a clubhouse in pro ball, everybody's called out. It's so that's my background. That's I'm used to that. And if you don't have thick skin in this game, then get a dog and go on a hike.
So for you guys tuning in, if you're new around the baseball world, Schaefer is pretty well known out there. He's got his kind of his hands in a lot of different buckets, if you will. Starting down in that Charlotte area with the Carolina Baseball Club. That's the travel organization that he runs. He's also running BIC, which is Best in Class Baseball, which some of you probably heard of those events. And then maybe think a group that more people across the country would know is the NTIS and USA Baseball. Where should we start real quick talking about one of these organizations?
Let's go. We started at CBC. Let's go. We started CBC 13 years ago, and I left the pro game, did a bunch of different things, had some successes, and was never happy. You and I had the conversation about you kayaking and the adrenaline rush and all that. And, I stepped out with a group of buddies and had some pretty good businesses that we sold along the way and made some money. And but none of them, even on the days that we sold them and hit nice checks, none of them brought me the passion or the adrenaline rush or the intensity or even the desire for preparation. Even though we were building a business, you were going in and we had some good things rolling. I just didn't, I just wasn't looking forward to going to work every day like I used to look forward to going to the park. So all that said and done, died down, spent about a year just knocking around, playing golf, doing some things, and decided to roll into a facility here in Charlotte that was giving lessons, tiny facility. It might have been 4,000 square feet. And, I'm looking around and I'm watching the people giving lessons and I'm listening and, and I'm saying, this can be done so much better. And it involved baseball. So, getting around the kids again, getting back around the game. We opened CBC and it was called Carolina's Baseball Center because my father-in-law, Mike Murphy, who past couple of years ago used to say, all roads lead to the center. So instead of calling it an academy, we call it a center. And we're here 13 years. Developed numerous kids, sent many kids, and I say sent many kids on to college. I hate when people say that, because the reality of it is these kids earn their way to college by, being dedicated to getting better and being in programs that develop. These yahoos that say, we put this kid in college, we put that kid in college because they picked up a uniform. It had nothing to do with it. So we had a small piece in that process, and we're very big on development, making players, prepared for each level, whether it's middle school, high school, college, or pro ball. So that was CBC, and that's where I'm sitting right now. I'm actually sitting in the back of our facility. It's 24,000 square foot down in Charlotte. We're not a big, promoter. We're not recruiters. We don't go out. We just fly our flag, and if these people want to be trained by numerous former major league players, then they find their way here.
I want to get back to CBC. I've seen these teams, I've seen the players, I've seen the rosters. I want to come back to that topic in a second, but I want to ask you about BIC first. And before we jump into that, I think we would be, I think it would be inappropriate if we didn't mention Sue Zeich at this point in the conversation. Can you tell the listeners who Sue is and the role she plays within basically your whole organization?
I appreciate you. You're bringing Sue up. Sue has been with me for 13 years, and she came in basically as an assistant, just helping me kind of organize and doing some things part time. When I first ran into Sue, a friend of mine said this woman was looking for some part-time work at night, and I was helping Ripken out when they built Myrtle Beach and selling teams into that. And so I brought Sue on and, shared in, the salary, and it was a good part-time gig for her. And as things started to evolve, she jumped in full-time, left the company that she was with. And I honestly can tell you, and I know for a fact because of, what happened to me a year ago, that she could run this company, and she can run it, and she's just as well versed and just as well connected as anybody in this game. And I've never met anybody in my life that can multitask like this woman. It's just constant, and she's 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. So, again, she makes fun of me and she calls me Hollywood, like I'm the face out there. She's joking and busting my chops, which she's learning to do, because we used to call her Sweet Sue. She's not so sweet anymore. But she's gold, and the successes of any of our companies are nil without Sue. So I appreciate you bringing that up, and I'm sure she will as well.
I think it's such a lesson learned where, being in the baseball industry, we often get hung up on thinking that we need this baseball guy, right? Mm-hmm. The reality is, hey, at the end of the day, these are businesses. If your business doesn't succeed, you no longer can help kids. And so, there's probably some folks out there who need to reevaluate their hiring and look for their version of Sue that can help run that business so that they can in turn help more kids.
There's such a level of loyalty involved in this business. We're in, and I don't know how uncensored or sensitive the program is, but there's just a lot of crap out there, man. There's a lot of people out there that just do it for the dollar,
mm-hmm.
and don't do it for the right reasons. Look, there's money to be made in this business, and everybody should make money. I'm not opposed to anybody making money.
Yep, me too.
That's why we live in this country,
mm-hmm.
and it's just unfortunate that there's smoke and mirrors thrown up of for the dollar. There's more self-serving people in here than there's people serving others, and that's been a part of what we're doing. And Sue and John Ennis and Jack McDowell and Dusty Waffen and Ross Gload, all these guys are former big league guys.
Yeah.
Alan Cockrell, that's down here with us. Every one of these guys, and I've been through a number of people in this business in terms of hiring and firing, and every one of these guys that are in our stable, have the genuine heart for the kids. And it makes my job, now it's fun, it's fun. It wasn't fun when we had 30 teams, and, you don't even know the people that are giving you a paycheck, it's like, hey, it was all bottom line. It wasn't bottom line about the person. So, we were sitting around one day and John Ennis said, enough of this, man. Let's back down. Let's go to one team. Let's get to what we want to do and what we enjoy doing. We have a homeschool program in here too, the Royals homeschool program in here that John Ennis is coaching, and that's been a treat. I want to talk about a different breed of kids, man. Go sit in a homeschool dugout. They don't talk to anybody with their parents during the day, and they get around. Man, they're talking to the umpires, they're talking to the coaches, to the trainers.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun. But and that's the part of it, man. We two things, Rich. I think that three things. We want to develop. We want to provide opportunity, but we also want people to understand that playing this game is an experience. And it's not, we don't have to be scholarship driven on every single thing that we do. Yeah. You know what I mean? The parents sit back there and the parents freak out more than anything else. And, oh my God, the truth of the matter is, we'll get you a scholarship, but you're still going to come out of college in debt.
Oh, don't get me started. Don't get me started
that's
on that.
a whole other program. You're right.
Well, listen, you beat me to the punch because I wanted to make a point to bring up Sue and the value that she's bringing to the table and get the listeners' juices flowing about thinking about their hiring a little bit. But then, all of a sudden you start rattling off some names that are recognizable names, including Hall of Famers. So you've got kind of like the
Cy Young. The Hall.
Not the Hall. Excuse me, a Cy Young Award winner. Excuse me.
Cy Young.
Excuse me.
Yep.
So you've got kind of the best of both worlds. It's you've got guys who competed at the highest level, played at the highest level, was awarded at the highest levels, and then you've got the Cy Youngs of the business world too with Sue, which is pretty incredible. And actually,
now that's a Hall of Famer.
There you go.
There you go. She's an HOF. Yeah.
So speaking of Jack Black, Black Jack, I think they called him actually. Yep. Jack McDowell, just a terror on the mound back in the day. So this brings me up to the BIC, and let me back up a second. I see.
Well, Blackjack is he's the head coach of Queens University down here.
That's right. New program, D2, out of Charlotte, North Carolina.
And let me tell you, for the guys up that way and the guys up into the north and people that are listening to this podcast, let me tell you about D2 baseball down here in the South. I would take a number of these teams and head north and play any D1 school up north. There is so much talent. I mean, I watched Wing and Jack's program the other day, and Jack's program had a tough time this year because they were startup. Any given day they're going to have 7 freshmen on the field. All good talent, going to be fine in the end, but difficult. But the Division II baseball down here in the Peach Belt, and the coaches that we have down here, and Jack McDowell and Landon Powell and Chris Anderson, and I can go Tom Fleenor, and I mean I can go over up and down. These guys are some of the best in the game, and it's just interesting. And Queens uses our facility for their indoor facility, so I'm a Terrapin, but down here in the Division II world, I'm a Queens Royal.
You're honorary Royal. So
I'm a Royal, man.
This is the story I wanted to tell. Is that you see so many organizations who are running events and they publish, and usually the wording is something like request an invite. It's supposed to be this exclusive thing, but all you got to do is click this button, stroke the check, and you're in. So I'm sitting there scratching my head going, this isn't exclusive. Like any kid in the country can hit that button and put in his 16 digits, and he's good to go. And then I ran across this organization, BIC, run by this ex-big leaguer, Jeff Schaefer, and he's hey, request an invite. And then come to find out, Why don't you tell the story? What happens once a kid requests an invite through the Best in Class events? And this is not a Best in Class commercial, by the way, guys. If you're listening,
no, I appreciate that.
I want to highlight this. This is really important.
I appreciate that. So, Best in Class is our showcase division. We run individual events. We do all skill testing, pro style workouts, and then we go ahead and we do what we call simulated games. But the request for invite thing has always been a bug in my ear forever as well, because I've done it. I've put in requests at I'm 14 years old, yes. I'm 5'2" and I'm 325 pounds. And then I get it back like, you're in, right? I've done it online, just to see. And I've done it with Perfect Game. I've done it with some of the other ones too. I have no problems, throwing those names out there. But and then you're in. So we decided, we wanted to request an invite, and we brought the invites in here, and they came in. They came in numerous. And so what we did is we went ahead and we decided to vet everybody. So when these requests came in, we required them to have two coaches, a high school coach and their showcase coach. And we got on the phones and we grinded it out. So two things. I found out that people were appreciative of that. And then the second thing is I found out that there's not very good evaluators out there, and that people are still, regardless of what it is, even if you're trying to vet them and you don't know them, they're going to tell you that their kid is a dude.
Yeah.
So, we get to the event and we have this split level, right? Because we have people out there that I call that I've known for years and I respect their evaluation skills like I would yours. And all of a sudden, it's like there's a kid out there that we don't even have a shirt small enough to fit him. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? So, that program is flawed itself. So what we've done with ours is, we see so many kids along the year. We just ID them, and we tell them we ID them. They can, we give them all of our letters, our BICs, our CBCs, our USA Baseball, all that other stuff, and tell them, go ahead and vet us. Go find out if we are what you want. And it's almost a reverse request to be invited. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They're requesting us to invite them. So, but it is. We're in such a money grab situation across the board. And like I told you earlier, Rich, you grinded. I've watched you grind through playing school. I've watched you go through this thing, and I've always been impressed by your perseverance. And and then you get people out there that don't have the abilities that you have, but don't have the the years of experience, and they're doing the same thing and charging the same money. It just blows me away. But we're in it, because people see an opportunity to take money. They really don't care about the game, which is paramount with me and our people in here. Like, I care about the game. I want to be a steward of the game. I want to make the best players that I can possibly make and move them forward. And people go, oh, you're a BSer, and you're just saying that forever. Go ahead and check my background. Go ahead and check it out. I'm not. I'm about that. And and the ones that want to call me out on it are the ones that don't.
Yeah.
And that's how you should feel too. The ones that want to call you out on what you do, they don't. And that, so that has become the BIC, and we run invite only tournaments in terms of teams. We run micro tournaments in terms of teams, which means I won't bring in any more than 6 teams at a time, and they've all been invited. It's not a register and come on in. We're calling you. We're asking you to play, asking you to be involved. We'll bring college coaches. We'll do everything we're supposed to be doing. And then let's go out and drink a beer at the end of the night. I could care less if you beat me or not, as long as it was good competition and it was the right people.
Let's take a short break from this call to talk about my day job, video. In 2019, if you aren't leveraging film to market your guys, you are doing them a disservice. So where do I come in? Well, filming one guy on your iPhone and texting it to coaches or posting it to Twitter is easy. But filming 25, 50, 100, or 200 is really hard. And that's why you haven't done it already. That's why smart coaches partner with Play in School. We do all the work. We come to you. We can film 100 guys in the time it would take you to film just 4 or 5. If you'd like to see every team we partner with, visit playinschool.com/teams. Contact me today to discuss the details. Now, back to the call.
I just remember being down in Charlotte with you and hearing the story about, some kid from the West Coast puts in request an invite, and then a couple days later, their high school coach gets a call from Cy Young Award winner Jack McDowell trying to get a read on the kid. How funny is that? How funny is that? So I was so impressed by that, and he explained to me how he was, like you said, working the phone and calling, making trying to make sure the kids who were there were of a certain talent. So
you get to a certain level, and again, we want to make money. I have to make money. I got family, I got a building to keep up. I have employees and stuff like that. I have to make money, but I also want to sell. I want to make sure that when you come to a steak restaurant, you're getting steak and you're not getting hamburger on your plate.
Yeah.
So that's just simple analogy.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell me about this new complex. You've referenced it a couple times already. What's going on? Where is it? And what's it look like?
It is a collaboration of You Deserve a Chance Foundation, which is our nonprofit foundation, Carolina Metro Reds, which is another former Major League player by the name of Morris Madden, who is predominantly works out of the west side of Charlotte, which is an underserved community, 10 Title I schools within 3 miles of there, which means if you're a Title I school, you're living in a district that is under the poverty line. And so both groups formed Knothole Foundation to purchase property in West Charlotte, which was an old existing, but yet dilapidated Optimist Park baseball field. It's been there since 1952. And the people that live here in Charlotte that are lifers, if you bring up the Optimist Park, it's amazing how many people said, I played there. And these are 50, 60-year-old people. It's pretty cool. So it has some history to it. And so we went in there. We purchased the land. We've demoed it. We're starting the grading this week, and it'll be 3 fields. It'll be a collegiate field that we're going to lease to Queen's University, McDowell's group.
Yep.
And then there'll be a high school-sized field, and then there'll be a youth-sized field, softball-sized field, and we'll lease that to the girls' softball program at Queens as well. But we'll use it for all of our programs. On top of it, it is all raised money. It's a $5.5 million in, and we're 2.9 in right now, and we're moving forward. We're very confident that we'll get to the 5.5. We still need investors. We still need dollars. But you're taking something like that, and we have Eddie Buskey from EA Sports Fields building this complex, and Eddie built the new BB&T Stadium downtown. He built Safeco in Seattle and the new Comiskey. He's been in on all of those. So, we have a guy that's built major league facilities, major league fields, living right here in our neighborhood, and he's all in. So we're taking a jewel of a complex and putting it in an underserved community, so people can see that their community does have something that nobody else in the city of Charlotte has. It's an opportunity to bring kids over there, and baseball is the conduit, Rich. It's not the it's not the primary. We have an academic center being built in there. We have health and wellness programs. We have education programs. We have opportunity programs. Atrium is coming out here with their truck, and they're going to do free dental and free checkups. And that's just not for the kids. That's for the people that live in the community.
Wow.
So this is really, taking my passion to a different level. It's funny. You played this game and you understand that, when we're in it, we're going at it, we're very selfish. And it's all about what can I do for myself and how can I get to the next level. And I've sat in clubhouses in the big leagues and, on the couch with somebody having to go down, and there's 3 of us sitting there, and one of us knows they have to go down. And I flat out told the other guy, dude, I hope it's you. I could care less.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we're in this selfish world, and now this is an opportunity for Jack and John Innes and Ross and all the guys that I mentioned, and Alan Cockle to turn around and give back, and not only hopefully we develop great players, we think we will out of that facility as well, but to give people opportunity and hope, things that they just never thought they would have. So you got me on the right soapbox right there, man.
Well, if I've done, I don't know how many of these calls I've done, 15, 20 of them, I would say 15 or 20 of the guys on the other end have said that one of the biggest problems in travel baseball is the expense of it. But you and your team down there are figuring out ways to eliminate that as a hurdle. I mean, so now the unique situation that you're in is you're ex-big leaguer, ex-big leaguers. That's your circles. How does a guy who's not an ex-big leaguer, who's just a local baseball guy, who's going to work every day and then running the travel ball team, do you have any tips or suggestions? How does he help the kids that are underserved in his area?
Well, listen, two things. I want to go back to the money part. This has become a game for the privileged and no longer a privilege to play the game. So, those words stick in my head all the time. And when I look at a kid, I mean, I can tell you, we had a dad walk in here yesterday, lost his job, and his kid is kind of flipped upside down emotionally and stuff, that are deeper than anything we can, want to deal with in our lives.
Yeah.
And, he's been fine. He's been involved with the program for a while. And it's you're good. Don't worry about it. Not even considering anything. Just like, don't put this on your plate as a stress. You got bigger things to worry about. He plays here. He's good. You're good. We'll figure something out down the road.
Yeah.
So that's a big piece. As far as the guys that are out there that are trying, I'd never knock a dad that takes the clipboard or the fungo and goes out and is there for his kid. They're doing the right thing. They're being supportive. It's by the way, this is the 30th anniversary of Field of Dreams, which is about fathers and sons.
Yeah.
So great question. So what I say to them is, get yourself, you don't have to be a part of an organization, but like our facility right here in Charlotte, we lease space. Come in here. Our guys are giving lessons one cage away. We're on the field area over here, teaching defense. Watch, learn. You can learn, but you got to learn. You can't learn this game from textbooks. You have to learn this game from experience. There's plenty of guys out there that can go read a textbook and tell you this is the perfect swing. This is how you should throw. These are the mechanics of pitching. This is how you should block. That's all. But unless you've done it, and you just don't get it. And again, I keep going back to your plan. You hear these guys, you see these guys. These dads that are trying to do this have to find the right coaching clinics. They have to find the right facility to have their kids. At least around people that have knowledge. That's my biggest piece. Gain your own knowledge if you're going to try and help them, because you can hurt them. You can definitely hurt them by teaching them the wrong things.
Mm-hmm. Talk to me about You Deserve a Chance Foundation, because again, this is sort of all going down in the same direction. If you can't tell, you listen at home, you can't tell. There's a lot of charity coming from Schaefer and Schaef's crew, and the You Deserve a Chance Foundation is kind of right on that same path. So tell us about that, and be sure to tell us about some of the events you run. I've seen some of the commercials, and I mean, I think they could win some awards for for the. I'll leave
de Mayo.
Yes, I'll leave it at that. But tell us about You Deserve a Chance, and then if you could paint a picture for the Cinco de Mayo event.
Well, the Cinco, that's our golf tournament that comes up. We actually play that next week on the 3rd. So we always play it in that weekend somewhere around there. But You Deserve a Chance Foundation came about when I got into this, into the training side, and we invested the money into the equipment and everything, and we started doing lessons and things like that. I was coming out of pro ball and being in pro ball for 14 years of my life, and coming off Long Island when it was Little League and all this other stuff, and you never even considered the fact that somebody couldn't afford to play the game. We had the first uniform I ever put on in my life was called Do Electric, because Do Electric sponsored the team.
Mine was Mills Electric. I'm not making that up. Mills Electric was on the back of my jersey.
Dude, there's 5 jerseys. Okay, the first jersey you ever put on your body is one of your most favorite. You remember it, I remember it, right? Everything in between, I don't. My high school jersey, okay, my college jersey, my first big league jersey, and a Team USA jersey. Those are it. But so to jump back to UDACF, I just, I was blown away by how many people were coming in going, I can't afford to do this. I can't afford to do this. And I'm trying to like trim the fat so it's not expensive and, nobody's getting gouged, but yet, we're able to keep our doors open and do whatever. And I'm like, how does this work? Because, in this world that we're in, everybody has their hand out, from the umpires to the people that rent the fields to the people that are selling the chalk for the boxes. I mean, there's nothing free about this game.
Yeah. Nobody's
coaching for free. Nobody's doing anything for free. Uniforms. Teams are making $5, $10, $15 a uniform on the kids that they're already in their organization. It's crazy. So we started UDACF, just some friends, a foundation to raise a little bit of money to help some families, participate and play baseball. Well, as it started to grow, the issues were bigger than the game of baseball, and we had to put the pedal to the metal and try to pick up some more revenue or find some more donors that could help some of the families out. Listen, we've helped people with funerals. Oh. They couldn't afford, they had kids pass away and couldn't afford a funeral. We've done that. We're still scholarshiping kids in college. We're helping them out with tuitions and things along those lines. So it's gotten in terms of, what we're trying to do. It's just not, hey, you're going to get a registration fee to a showcase, or we do that, but, it's not what it's about. It's creating the opportunity or assisting a family or relieving whatever stresses or pains, come from just life in general. But the people are all related to baseball. So that was, that was the beginning. We started to raise money. So we had to figure out how to do more things. We have several events. We do a Top Golf event. We do the golf tournament, that we'll do again. It's next week, May 3rd. But our biggest event is our home plate gala. And I would love for you to come down and be a part of that. I think you'd be blown away by what we've created there. It's a formal night. Everybody dresses up. It's adults only, ton of auction items and open bar, just baseball people from Cy Young all the way down to the Little League coach or the mom that's, bringing the snacks in between games. It's really a cool, diverse group. And year one, we give a Spirit of the Game award away every year. Year one, we gave it to Tom Walter, the head coach of Wake Forest, donated his kidney to an incoming freshman. Crazy story. That's a 30 for 30 or an E60. Mm-hmm. Year two, we gave it to Chris Singleton, whose mom was the pastor in the Charleston Church Massacre. Yes. And Chris ended up getting drafted by the Cubs. And there's an interesting story right there on top of that. We gave him the award, we honored him, and then just late May, a couple of years ago, he called us and said, "Hey, I've been invited to the Cubs pre-draft workout in Chicago." And we were thrilled. We were like, "This is great, Chris. You deserve it. You're unbelievable class act." He said, "I can't afford to go. So, but I want to let you know, thank you for, he's just like that. I'm like, "No, dude, you're going." So UDACF purchased a plane ticket. We got him a hotel room and we gave him a Visa card to eat on when he was there. And he ended up getting drafted. And now he's all over the country doing public speaking. Just a phenomenal story.
That kid's one of the most mature kids. I've never met him, but I've seen the interviews, and he's just if anybody, look that kid up, man. He's big time.
Chris Singleton, man, he's he's phenomenal. But the line to give that kid hugs after he spoke that night, and this was a kid. He was just fresh out of college. He was still in college actually, and. Stuart Lake came in with him as coach, and so you're thinking, okay, how articulate or how deep is this going to be? And this kid had a line of moms in tears, just wanted to hug him. Phenomenal. And then Landon Powell the next year, and Landon's story is again, it's heartbreaking, but it's resilience. And baseball was his nirvana and his safe place that he got back to, and he's got one of the top Division II schools in the country down here. I think they were either won this year again for a while, and might have gotten as low as 5, but 1 to 5 is pretty darn good. And then last year was Mike Shildt, who is the manager of the St. Louis Cardinals, and Shildt was the clubhouse kid when I got to Charlotte in 1982, and we started a friendship that had lasted over 30 years. And here's a guy that never played a day professional baseball and barely was able to stay on his college team. I mean, was not skilled at all at those levels, but just an amazing baseball mind and a big-hearted guy, and known him forever. So, and this year we're going to give it to Jack Leggett, who is who's the 18U national team coach and was 20-something years at Clemson.
Yeah,
just a lifer. Yeah. Very cool. So I got rambling there.
Yeah, no, that's a pretty good list of names who've won your awards. And it just, every call I'm on, every conversation, whether it's recorded or whether it's a private phone call, you're hearing about the money piece of it, and I just got to applaud you for, your action. You just go out and do it instead of. Everybody's talking, you're going out and doing it. So I just want to congratulate you for that.
My advice to those people, Rich, out there that want to try and do this, do it. But you got to remember, it's a heck of a lot easier, when you're asking for somebody else. And I'm asking for somebody else. If I was asking for myself, you wouldn't hear a word from me. I would never ask. My pride is too heavy. I figured out how to take care of that on my own. But, when it comes to others that deserve it, and are appreciative of it, and not everybody is. I'll tell you that, not everybody is appreciative of it. Some people, there's a sense of entitlement on a lot of different levels in this game. But the ones that are, man, I tear up. Considered a tough guy. It's funny. Mm-hmm. Not even close. Not even close. I tear up more than I just look at people, and and that you've been able to help. And I don't want a pat on the back. I don't care about a pat on the back. Nobody in this building does. I just want to see something productive come out of that kid that never thought he'd have that opportunity.
That sense of entitlement or not appreciating the help, it is definitely a thorn in my side when I get talking about the topic of fundraising, because at the end of the day, listen, you're doing it to the tune of hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. Fundraising is not that complicated. Okay. Now here's the problem. If you give, are things less valued, right? Like think about that prized possession that you worked hard for. You earned the money and you went out and bought that thing, whatever that thing is in your life. Mm-hmm. You value that. You love it. Versus the somebody just gives you something, doesn't matter how valuable it is. You just were given it. You don't appreciate it as much. I mean, how can you? So there is this fine line. I've seen teams that are 100% free. And you can just tell there are some of the families who are just like, whatever, it's okay to miss. We didn't pay for it. And so there is this. Yeah,
you do have to have skin in the game. There's no doubt. There has to be accountability. Your point is valid.
You took the words right out of my mouth. And it's a really tough conversation because you want to be able to offset costs. You want to be able to help people, but you want them to value. You want them to have skin in the game. You want them, and maybe for some families it's sweat equity. Doesn't necessarily have to be.
Listen, we ask all the time for volunteers to our events, and we make it clear, we're doing this, but and when it comes down to that, and you put in emphasis, because some of the people, understand, some of the people are not used to being given anything. Mm-hmm. Period. They're used to things being taken away from them. So when you give them something, they're not always sure how to deal with that.
Yeah.
Do I step up? Do I help out? Do I ask to do anything? And then when you ask, they're all in. They're engaged. It's, it's a great circle. And again, I just want to see something better every day I walk in this building. I've been through enough in the past year or so. Let's kind of reflect.
Let's talk about that. I wanted to bring that up at the beginning, but we jumped right into some baseball and then talked about the charities and stuff. And I told you, if you were comfortable, and I know you are, you've talked about it publicly a lot. I think hopefully there's at least one person who's still listening to this call that this brings some value to. So basically, the short version, and I'm going to let you kind of take over. But a year plus ago, Schaefer had a stroke on the field. Tell the story and tell about. I mean, it was quite the miracle recovery. So tell us about it, and if there's any tips for coaches out there or things to be on the lookout for, or warning signs or anything like that.
I've had vertigo. I've had bouts with vertigo in the past, and I woke up about 2 a.m, TV on. Looked at the TV, and all of a sudden my whole world went upside down, and it felt like I was in a tornado. Everything was ripping around. The TV was upside down. Things were spinning. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the worst bout of vertigo I've ever had. I closed my eyes and went back to sleep. I woke up in the morning, had clarity, but it felt like one of those nights where you're in bed but you really don't sleep, and I was kind of lethargic. And I got myself together. I went to the gym, did my treadmill stuff, and didn't feel like lifting that day. I was just, for some reason, I'm just like, I'm just getting out of here. I'm done. Went to the office, sat down with Sue for a morning meeting, to go over everything. And I told her what happened the night before, and nothing. I said, listen, I had a really bad bout of vertigo last night. I don't know how I'm going to be today. So I went through my day, just not feeling good. Went to coach my middle school team that my son Dylan was on, and was throwing BP. And I just like, oh my God, what is wrong with me here? So I switched out and I said, it was my assistant to throw BP, and I went to hit fungos, and I couldn't hit a fungo to center field. I'm like, oh, am I just getting old? Am I getting weak? I'm not even thinking that there's something going on in my head or, in my brain. And sat on the bucket. And about the 6th inning, they're coming off the field, and I get up to go talk to the kids. And I'm on the first base side. The scoreboard is in left field, and just like the TV, it went upside down, and everything started to spin, and I lost complete balance. I felt like I was walking on the side of a wall, trying to straighten up. And I powdered and went down in the dirt, and I couldn't see, I couldn't speak, hear, and one of the most powerful things that came through in that scenario was my son coming off the field, and he said, "My dad will be okay. He just doesn't sleep well." And I'm laying there thinking, okay, this is it, dude. It's over. I'm having a heart attack or something's going on. And the joke has always been, if I die, I want to die on a baseball field. I'm sitting in a lawn chair somewhere in left field watching a game, and you come back the next day and I'm full of dew and dead, But I'm laying there thinking to myself, God, I really, I'm kidding. I don't want to die on a baseball field. And I certainly don't want to die in front of my son. Or my mother-in-law who's there, who just lost my father-in-law like months earlier. So it's pretty freaky. Got to the hospital, and they did all the scans and everything, and I got clarity again. It was bizarre. And I'm sitting there talking to my wife, and I'm telling her, we're heading home here. This is just nothing but vertigo. And they came in at that point, and they showed me the pictures, and they said, you had a piece of carotid artery jump off and lodge in your brain, and it's killed part of your brain. And I'm like, man, you're out of your mind. This is because I'm thinking stroke victim is just, you lose all mobility and all that other stuff. And they asked me to give me a urine sample, and they wanted me to roll over and do it that way. And I said, no, so I'm going to stand up, and I'm going to, and I'm going to walk out of here in a little bit. And as soon as I stood up, next thing I remember was day 4, and I waking up in the ICU, and that was 2 weeks there, and then another 2 weeks in the neuro, basically, and then 4 months on the couch, and but I had no idea, I'd be where I'm at today. I got lucky. They were waiting for swelling in the brain because they were getting ready to cut my head open and cut that part of the brain out and freeze it and drain. And I could hear all this going on. I could hear these people talking about it, but I can't say anything or do anything. So very bizarre time, but it's all good. I'm probably 90%, 95% back. So it's been an interesting trek.
On the positive note, wherever that thing lodged, you obviously weren't using that piece of the brain all that much anyway, right? So that's
exactly.
That's a good.
Exactly. I got lucky. Right.
Yeah.
No, it was balance. It was balance in the brain. You learn more than you want to know about things. I certainly wasn't a doctor into anatomy or anything like that, but you learn a lot. About when it's you start to study and research, and the brain is an amazing thing. It can rewire itself, to a degree, and I'm one of the fortunate ones. And I've come back, and I throw BP, I hit fungos, I do whatever. My speech is clear. My memory every now and then it's not horrible, but it's not what it was. I'm going to be 59, in May, so I guess that's part of the degenerative program that I'm on as far as age goes. But I got lucky. I have other people that had the same thing happen at the same time, and they're struggling.
Looking back, I know you had the vertigo, but was there a something you could have done to avoid this, or was this just completely freak and random and unavoidable?
No, you know what? I've had cholesterol issues my whole life, and it's hereditary because I have a good diet, I exercise, I do all those things, and then plaque built up, and I had a carotid artery in the neck that a piece just happened to break off, and that was the bad luck part about it. I've been doing everything correct in my life, but what I will say to people out there if they're listening is that we get to a certain point in our age and we'll no longer have to consider ourselves invincible. I mean, I've been in numerous fights in my life and had my ass beat and beat ass, and you go back and you go get some more. It's just it's a crazy process because you don't think it's going to end the wrong way. If something is going on or you don't feel right or whatever, listen, you got insurance, you got go do it, man. Just get checked out because medicine today is so crazy. It's so good, and these doctors are so good that they can save your life by just walking in and asking a question. You may have AFib, you may have something going on, but the other part of it is, we're conditioned to eat a certain way our whole lives, whether it's, most of us growing up, it wasn't good. It was sugar, it was bread, it was all this other stuff that was, that's really not that good for us, although we love it, and I grew up, on Long Island with a bunch of Italian families, and it's pastas and sausages and meatballs and bread, and and it's like, oh my God, years of that's going to take its toll. So change your diet, go to your doctor regularly. I go every 3 months now, not necessarily because I have to. I could probably go every 6 months to 8 months, but I got 2 young boys now from my second marriage, and I don't want to go anywhere, dude. I want to hang around and keep doing what I'm doing.
Well, this was an amazing story. When I first heard that you had gone down for the count on that field, and we were following the progress online. I forget, somebody was keeping us updated, I think through your Facebook account those first few days, and then it wasn't but a couple handful of days, a week, a couple weeks later. We're sitting there texting and, and going back and forth, like what a, again, like, wherever that thing lodged, you weren't using that thing.
Well,
so
that's what the doctors told me. Listen, man, if you ever had to wish for a stroke, this thing went in the one part of your brain that you had a chance. The only thing they were concerned about was swelling, and if it would have swelled anymore. Like, I had another guy come in, like I said, the same day, same situation, same part of his brain, and they were monitoring me, but his brain swelled, and they cut him open and cut open his. I don't even. And I'm hearing this. I'm literally laying there, Rich, listening to these people talk. Well, that guy down the hall, we got to take him in. They're going to do surgery on his. I'm like, oh, and I can't communicate. I can't open my eyes. I really can't speak. And, dude, all I wanted to do was take a shower.
God. Yeah, because a couple minutes earlier, you'd been laying in the dirt and kidding.
Oh, it's amazing. But, yeah, again, the things that goes in my head is my son saying, my dad will be fine. He just doesn't sleep well. And, and you're laying there going, God, just get me in the ambulance. If you're going to take me not in front of my kid. Yeah. Not in front of my kid. Don't let him see me laying here, toast.
Oh, my goodness. That's story.
But good. It's all good, and I appreciate you asking. And listen, to the public service, don't be an idiot. Don't think you're invincible. You're not.
Okay, so hard left turn here, and I don't want to keep you all day, but we always want to wrap up talking travel baseball. That's what this thing is designed to talk about. And let's do it. What's good?
Yeah, man.
What's good? What's bad? What's ugly about travel baseball right now?
Yeah.
Don't hold back.
You know what?
Don't hold back on me now.
Dude, you know me to hold back. Let me give you the good. The good is that, regardless of where it is, kids are playing the game. We need more kids involved, and obviously that's a cost factor. And I will say this too: we need more African American kids involved in this game. For me, the game was at its greatest when we had black players all over the place, and that's just fact. That and athletes are athletes regardless of skin color, and we need as many of those guys, athletes as we can. And so we're working to turn the system that area as well. But the kids are playing all over the place. They're having opportunities. The bad in our game, in our travel game right now, is another black eye for baseball in terms of the collegiate side, and I bring the collegiate side into the travel side because those are where the recruiters are at.
Yeah, of course.
And they got punched in the head again because they're not going to pay a third coach. People don't realize that. You got 2 paid coaches on your staff. Everything else is camps or clinics or any type of fundraising that the program can do to assist these people. These guys are doing it out of pure passion and love for the game. And they're certainly not for the money. There's very few collegiate coaches in the game that are making big bank, and some of them are making pretty big bank, but they're not making the bank that a college basketball coach or football coach is making because of the revenue.
Sure.
That's a bad. The other bad for me, and not hold it back, is I'm sick and tired of show and go type of organizations, and then these guys taking it and building teams all across the country on a brand, becomes a brand, and then these parents and people walk around saying, "Oh yeah, well I'm part of this organization, I'm part of that organization." Dude, the guy at the top doesn't even know your name. He doesn't care. You know what your name is? Benjamin Franklin, because you're on a bill somewhere. That's your name, and that's what it is. And then these people walk around and, I get emails all the time. Well, I'm part of this organization. And I text them back. You just say, "Listen, dude, I don't care." And believe it or not, unless you're on a national level team, which some of these things are these teams are extremely talented. Those are easy, right? But they're few and far between. But I text them back or email them back and just say it means nothing. College recruiters do not care. College recruiters do not care about rankings or ratings. They do not care. It's all based on subscription. So uniforms. You better be with the right people that know how to get it done. That's one of the biggest bones of contention. The pretty is there are a lot of people in this game that really want to see it in the right direction. There's a lot of good things on social media. There's USA Baseball to me is one of the best things that ever happened to amateur baseball. It's a true test of who you are and where you are in this game, because there's only one team that goes overseas and plays for a gold medal, and there's thousands and thousands of kids that have to come and try out to see if they're one of those kids. And it's a true barometer of, where you fit in the process, not a ranking. I mean, in North Carolina alone, I think we have 3 ranking organizations. 3.
Yeah.
And these kids, the same kid can be in 4 different rankings. He could be 60 on one, 50 on another, and 10 on another one, based on how many he went to. It's crazy.
What mom and dad fail to recognize is that the ranking doesn't really help you unless you're at the top of it, right? However, the irony is that if you're at the top of the ranking, you don't need the ranking because everybody knows you're good. Everybody already knows you're good. So being at the top of that rank, that list it's irrelevant. The whole thing is hilarious.
Here's the other part. You're right, Richard. Here's the other part that's irrelevant. I can understand ranking or rating in the major leagues. I can understand ranking or rating in college. I can understand rankings and ratings somewhat to a degree in high school, only because it's one group, right? It's one group, and probably not the high school thing because there's not enough educated or talented evaluators out there to make the decisions. But at the college level and the major league level, you have a real sample of players all being ranked under the same criteria, where rankings for a PBR or a PG or any of these other things, and I've had that on, and listen, there's guys that are involved with that I like.
Yep.
I mean, I like a lot of these guys, even guys that have showcase teams that are show and go. I like them. I don't care about their business practice. Doesn't mean I don't like them. But it's subscription based. It's marketing to get them attracted to their programs. Bring the players in and bring the dollars in. That's what it is. But families don't find that, and I get the biggest kick out of the parents that look like they're dressed to play a game, walking around with all this crap on. Are you kidding me, man?
Yeah.
Like, dude, you got eligibility left? Are you 12? Are you 14? But they want to walk around like it's something extremely special when the reality of it is it's not. But good for the business mind, good for the marketing, good for the the people making money. But like I said, is it steak or is it hamburger?
At the end of the day, I'm sitting here thinking, if you're the 60th best second baseman in the 2019 class
right?
in your city, does that really help you? Does that really?
Rich, how about the buzzwords? He filled up the zone throwing 72 and had a nice breaking ball that are you kidding me?
Oh, I like the one the one. It was a senior right-handed pitcher who had a projectable changeup. Well, his fastball was 79. So
yeah, projectable. Oh my God. Yeah.
Okay, good for him. Nice.
I need to see the rankings and the ratings that just say you suck, man. We need doctors. We need lawyers. You'll be a good one. Yeah. And it's the truth. I mean, I've done it. Yeah, I'm not saying to anybody that you suck. It's just you got to tell me, listen, this game is going by you. It gets, you got to be bigger, stronger, faster. I can flip to you and throw to you all day long, and you're never going to get there.
But hey,
it's not built for it.
If you write a negative scouting report, you're probably not going to get next month's subscription to come through. And
you know what's interesting about that? You're right. You're not going to get the subscription. Scouts have to write negative reports. The guys that are making the decision on the best players in the game, what type of reports are they writing? Mm-hmm. Other than your first-round picks, But there's always something negative in there, and that gets put out. It doesn't get put out publicly, But somebody really has to just go about and say, listen, these people are spending thousands and thousands of dollars a year, right, for a kid that's never going to play at the next level. Yeah. But yet somebody's telling them, hey, if you play for this organization, we're going to get you here. We're going to get you there. We're going to do this. And then all said and done, it didn't work. Somebody needs to take their money once and say, guess what? Can you play soccer? Do you like do you like law? Do you like something like that? So.
Well, you can steal this idea. I've tried to tell.
Okay, I will.
I've told friends here locally who run facilities that they should open up a music shop right next door to the baseball facility, and they can, you see the kid doing the hitting lesson, you say, hey man, here's a coupon for a guitar lesson, and you send them next door, and you own both places, and you're getting paid from that family either way.
Brilliant,
right?
Brilliant.
The other
absolutely.
one, the other idea that comes to mind, somebody can build this out, is a ranking site that always puts the viewer, so whoever's online, their kid's always in the top 5 or 10, right? So each, if you look in there, if you log in, your kid's in the top 5. If I log in, my kid's in the top 5. It's personalized. Every ranking's going to be personalized. Makes every family
feel. Every time
feel.
your email hits, it automatically just feeds you to the top.
Bingo.
Yeah, beautiful.
That's brilliant. That's big time.
Brilliant.
Big time, and it's only
it's
only four.
I mean, listen, more parents talk about their kids being ranked than the kids do. The kids will throw it around at each other, joke with, oh yeah, my son's, he's the top. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
There's thousands and thousands across the country. Have you seen everybody? I was on Facebook yesterday. This I don't know. It's like Baseball Parents of America thing, which I like because there's, it's average families, whatever, trying to figure it out. And then there's always some Yahoo going. But then we're talking about rankings. And the guy goes, well, I like rankings because it lets us know where our kid stands. Like, you don't even know. I mean, you're talking about, your town. He's ranked in your town. He's ranked in your state. He's not ranked or rated. You want to see how you rank? Make a national team. Let's see where you are.
Yeah. Well, listen.
Okay, that was good.
Yeah. I could go on about the rankings and the scouting reports, but I'll shut it down here. The last little bit, we talked about all these initials next to your name. You've touched on it very briefly. What's your involvement with NTIS and USA Baseball?
Oh God, I've been involved with USA Baseball for 9 out of the 10 years of the NTIS program, and regional director in the Northeast and the Southeast, and we go as far west as Ohio. And it is an intense process. It's a comprehensive process, and we run through all these different tryouts. The round one level, which is a pro style, we kind of weed out the dead wood, and then we bring them to a regional event and do a pro style, and then do simulated games so we can get an idea of how these groups function in a game scenario. And from there, we select 2 teams per age group per region, and there's only 6 regions across the country, which means per age group, when we go in August, we're only going in with 12 teams from across the country. So it's pretty intense, and I get a big kick out of everybody. Well, that's a money grab. That's whatever. Dude, you know what? A money grab is when you go to Cooperstown. That's a money grab. You go in there for the experience. A money grab is your weekend team that's gouging you by thousands of dollars and charging you for the uniforms and everything else because you're going to go win a plastic trophy or a tin ring. Those are money grabs. USA Baseball makes money because they have to support their national program. Okay, in 2005 they pulled baseball out of the Olympics, which it is coming back, which is great to hear. But USA Baseball lost $3 million in funding from the Olympics, the Olympic Committee, because they were no longer involved. So programs had to be built to sustain our office, our fields, the National Training Center, all the teams going overseas, all the different programs. And so when somebody says this is a money grab, it cracks me up. It really does. And it's just ignorance on some part, and some part people are just naive and need to be a little bit more educated on it. But it is an intense process. I mean, listen, Jack Leggett is the head coach of our 18U national team. Jack Leggett is a collegiate legend in coaching. Scott Bankhead, who pitched over 10 years in the big leagues, is the pitching coach. Todd Fine, who was part of PBR, and like I said, I may not have the best things to say about PBR, but I love Todd Fine, and he is his heart is as true as it is for this game. He's the head coach of the 12U team. Frank Chakota, put his dues in. He's the 18U director of our national team, and Ashley Bratcher, who's probably one of the top female executives in the country in this game, and is well versed and just a rock star and a great person to work with. Very open minded, and much younger than I am, but that's my report too. So that process is intense. You want to really find out where you fit, then go through that, and then it's in the end, if you're one of the fortunate ones that get to go play overseas and have a chance to wear USA across your chest and win a gold medal, you will never experience anything like that again unless you are playing in a World Series in the big leagues.
Awesome. Jeff, we may have to have you on like once a month. Like a regular guest.
I would be happy to. Like I said, I'm a fan of what you've done, and that's not blowing smoke. You and I have had this conversation before. Either of us were doing a whole bunch. We were sitting up at the Virginia Sports Complex, and I'm like, okay, here we go, another video game away. And I have watched you pull up in your car, painted the planes. I've watched you step into facilities, and you're a baseball guy, man, and I would love to help you in any way I can.
I appreciate that. We'll try and stay upright, vertical, and out of any hospitals in the near future. And everybody, I'm going to put the links to everything, to all of these initials: CBC, BIC, NTIS, UDACF, the whole 9 yards will be on the show notes, and also to the Twitter account, which is at Jeff Schaefer 2. I'd like to meet at Jeff Schaefer 1 because he's probably a heck of a guy.
Well, yeah. It's funny. Two is my number in Seattle, and I'll end it real quick with this. But my sons were wearing number 2 as they were growing up, and somebody asked my youngest son Dylan if he wore number 2 because I wore number 2 in the big leagues, and he looked at him and he went, "Jeter." So I got dumped on that one. I was standing right there. I'm like, oh man.
That's pretty good.
It's a beautiful thing. But hey, if anybody's listening, udacf.org, and notwholecarolinas.org. Need the help, and we're helping kids, man. So if that in your heart, you can go on either website and hit the donate button, and every single penny goes to the kids. Nothing goes to anybody involved in the organization, all the volunteers. All money goes straight to kids and equipment and families. So that was
all those.
We would appreciate it.
All those links will be on there, so you don't have to remember those, but we'll find those and put them on there. Jeff, I appreciate it. We'll talk soon. I'm sure we'll trade some text that we'd rather not share publicly.
There you go.
but we'll talk soon, man. Appreciate you.
All right, Richard. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks.
Take care.
I'm having so much fun bringing these shows to you each week. If you'd like to recommend a coach for the show, please don't hesitate to shoot me a note at rich@playinschool.com or DM me on Twitter @playinschool. Again, my name is Rich Prado. I'm the founder of Play in School. My goal is to continue to create products and services that add value to you, the travel ball coaches, your players, and their parents. Visit playinschool.com to see some of the ways we're doing that. Or better yet, let's set up a call. Until next time, thank you for listening to Travel Ball Talk.